Let's talk about sharing the last 10%. You know, we all need one or two people that we trust with whom we can share the last 10% of our lives. Now, first, let me explain what that is, and then we'll talk about how to find those people. So the last 10% is the deeply personal stuff that you're dealing with, but that almost nobody knows about. So maybe it's an opinion about somebody in your life, something simple like that. Maybe it's a sin struggle that embarrasses you. Maybe it's a question about God or the Bible. There's all kinds of things that can fall into the last 10% category. The 90% is the stuff you'll share with just about anybody. The last 10% is the stuff that you'll only share with those closest trusted people in your life. Now, everyone has the last 10%, and everyone needs one or two people at least that they can trust to share it with. So here are some tips. If you're a Christian, you should find another Christian. It should be someone that you trust, that believes in the Bible, and that is going to give you advice and counsel that's godly. So it should be another believer. Now, if you're married, your spouse should ideally be one of those people. We can talk about this a little bit more in the marriage stuff, or if you need some strengthening of your marriage before this is going to be a reality, that's fine. But generally, in a healthy marriage, your spouse should be one of these people, obviously. And then other than your spouse, it should generally be the same gender as you. So men should use men, women should use women. Otherwise, it can get really complicated. Here are a couple of Bible verses about this topic. Proverbs 27 says this: as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Another translation says, so one man sharpens another man. The goal here is to sharpen one another. The goal here is to help one another, and especially to help somebody else to grow, to be more God-honoring and more Christ-like. In Galatians, it says, dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by some sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And look at what Paul says. He says, share each other's burdens, and in this way, obey the law of Christ. He's referring to Matthew 22 when Jesus said that the greatest commandment in the law is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength. And then the next one's like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. And Paul's saying, if you really want to obey God's law, if you really want to honor God in your life, truth number 5, we live to honor God, then make sure that you're sharing each other's burdens. Make sure that there are one or two people in your life that you can share the last 10% with. Now, why don't you hit pause and talk about this?